Well, when I go to the shows with the expectation that it will be really exciting and that it will be, that I'll learn something and like I'll be involved with my friends and other people that go as well. But it doesn't work like that. Like not 100% of the time anyway. Really, a lot of the time I'm missing out on things, like the information that's been there. Like, so for example, I went to Bats Theatre recently and I went to see a show called X's. And it was a really simple show. There was only 2 people there on the stage. The stage wasn't risen or anything. It was on the floor. I was in the front row, so I was really close to the action. And like at home, I use the phone. So I thought, I've got enough hearing to do that. And still I couldn't understand any of what was being said. Like I'd watch the audience laughing away. And I'd look at them and I was like, the people on stage are fighting. But why are the audience members laughing? What is happening? So it's like this feeling of like, what? I've missed something. Like I'm not getting all of that information. And I feel like it's kind of like a waste of my time, really. And it's about when you experience something new for the first time, you develop an identity. You develop something within inside yourself. You learn about yourself. So if you can't access the communication that's there or the experience of the theatre, you've missed a part of yourself. So that part that you can develop through theatre, that understanding of yourself. So I watch all my hearing friends talking about the shows that they've seen, the TV things that they've seen, radio even, and I'm like, sorry, what? I don't know what you're talking about. I can't get involved in that conversation. I have no responses to that conversation. I don't have an experience in that situation. Like that life, like I feel like there's a gap there that I've missed. It's not a full, I'm almost not a full person. So going to shows with interpreters, oh my gosh, I completely understand what's going on. I feel it's just absolutely amazing. There's so much of the theatre that changes your perspective. It develops ideas inside you. It makes you see life differently. Or just, I don't know, just to have fun even. Alongside everyone else in the audience as well. It's the same. It's really amazing. So I really am so happy that Emma's doing this work. So when I saw on Facebook that they were advertising for that, I just couldn't believe it. I was literally like touched, like, oh my God, I can go. It was like a little party, It was just amazing for me, completely amazing.
So we have to encourage this initiative, and I guess you want to make sure as many people as possible go. Do you know how many members of the deaf community have booked, are ready to go to the signed production of the show?
I have been talking to my deaf friends and the deaf people that I do know and telling them, come on, we should go. But remember, it's new. It's the first time. They've never done it before. So it's kind of a bit like, like it's a taster for us too. Some of us will go and we'll talk about it and those things will grow. Those numbers will grow in time as well.
When you get it right and you hit it well, then, it becomes great fun. I guess the part where you're working it out, and for one song, Shosh and I will take perhaps half an hour, maybe an hour, to figure that song out and get signs that feel right and that we think look good or look comfortable as well.
I was thinking it's almost like another language again, singing.
I guess that, the comparison is between talking and singing with your voice. When you sing, you're not using a normal voice. So it's very similar, I guess, and that you might sign larger or you might sign faster or in a more rhythmic kind of fashion.
So you're using your body perhaps slightly differently?
Potentially. We'll use our bodies to portray different characters, so we'll turn from, say, one side to another side, and that gives you 2 characters without saying Phil said, Carol said, that sort of thing.
So we have pre-show touch tours for everything that's got an audio description, which is, people don't know what audio description is, it's when there are one or two describers. The audience wears a headset and they interpret all the visual elements, they describe all the visual elements of the show live while it's happening, and that's rehearsed with a script and as well. And so we've got pre-show touch tours and some talks. So the touch tours could be, we had one for Kate Tempest, and that was just, that if anyone went to that show, it's quite a bare stage, and most people think a touch tour is just about touching things, and to some extent it is, but it's also about describing the space, the auditorium where you are, sometimes maybe engaging with any of the performers and hearing their voices in advance, particularly for a show, like a play, so you can get them in character and get them, hear those voices in advance, and costumes, sounds, all kinds of things. The main thing was making sure we were providing the events that the community wanted first, and then you sort of answer all those questions later.
I guess the feeling that I get out of it is the feeling of success of having done the job well. For the community, it means I'm able to provide access to something that previously hasn't been, that everybody else thinks nothing of. I'm just going to buy a ticket and go to the theatre, and barely requires a second thought. As Alexandra has explained, it's nowhere near as simple for a deaf person or blind people, any others that have any other needs, to be able to access theatre, live theatre in particular. I guess in order to help with that, that's why we have a deaf consultant working on the show. In previous theatre shows that I've been involved with, I've gone and asked people about specific signs or a certain concept out of the show to sort of gather an idea of, there might be a way that I might sign it and I think that's understandable, but to get a deaf perspective on that, I might want to change how I deliver things.
And also